Morning, everybody. So let's talk about breathing. Let's talk about the breath. When is the last time you noticed your own breathing? Think about it. It's natural. We don't always think about our breathing. In fact, most of us don't think about our breathing and how we're breathing. So think back to a time when you get angry. Think back to a time when you get sad. Think about obviously when you're physically exerted, how you're breathing. Are you labored? Is your breathing normal? Is it regular? When certain emotions come up. So the breath is very healing, and without the breath, obviously, we wouldn't be alive. The basics, hopefully you understand this, right? The oxygen is coming in, the rich oxygen is coming in, and it's replacing the carbon dioxide. And the big part of obviously with the breath is the heart. So the heart's a big partner with the breathing and the breath. So one of the things that is most important when starting any sort of mindfulness practice, the foundation of a mindfulness practice, the centerpiece, so to speak, is the idea of breathing. And so a funny story, a number of years ago when I did a mindfulness-based stress reduction course, the first night of class, the teacher had us in a circle and had us just breathing. Eyes closed or eyes open, didn't matter. And afterwards, we all of us had a lot of questions. And I was sitting near the teacher, and my question was, how was my breathing? Did I do it right? So she said, there is no right or wrong. It's just a natural breath. And if you're competitive, you're thinking, well, this person next to me is breathing louder than I am. Am I supposed to be breathing louder? So the whole idea of the breath is, in mindfulness and the connection is, we're not thinking about the breath when we're meditating and we're practicing mindfulness on a daily basis. What we're doing is we're observing the breath. We're paying attention to the breath and paying attention to how the breath feels in our body and the different sensations that are associated with our breathing. So the breath is the anchor. And a lot of people use the breath as an anchor, and it's a great way to start. It's the foundation when we talk about sitting meditation. It's the foundation for yoga, walking meditation, body scans. The breath is what we always use. So it's important to start practice in this way with the breath. So there's two ways to practice. Number one, there's a formal practice where you take 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes every day. You set aside a quiet space somewhere in your house. You set aside some time. You can set a timer for a minute. You can set a timer for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. But I would recommend setting a timer, because when you first do meditation and you do the mindfulness breathing, you have a tendency to open your eyes or look at the clock and wonder when the time is up. So that could be detrimental. So set a timer for yourself that's realistic. Set a time that's realistic, and then start to track it and see how well you do with your formal practice. So your formal practice can be either sitting, like I am here. Your feet are flat on the floor. Your spine is upright and erect. Your neck is nice and straight, and you're not hunched over. So you want to stand nice and tall, sit up nice and tall. Your hands are gently in your lap. You can close your eyes. If you decide to keep your eyes open, just slightly bring down your gaze, look down at the floor or out in front of you a couple feet, on a spot perhaps somewhere on the floor. But at this point, you're setting aside this time for you. This is your self-care. And in this time, in this day and age right now, with COVID and everything else that's going on, it's important that you take some time for yourself. So if it's 5 minutes, imagine that 5 minutes out of 24 hours is not a lot of time. So, but it can be a powerful tool for you during the day and on your journey of life. So the formal practice, when you're sitting there for your first 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, you're going to notice some things happening. You're going to notice some thoughts coming to your mind wandering. You might have an itch right here. So with any mindful breathing and meditation, you want to recognize the thoughts. You want to say thank you. I see them, I hear you, and let them go by. Let them go by like clouds in the sky. And then come back to your breath. And your breath becomes that anchor. Now some people like to focus on their breathing in the nostrils, their chest, or their belly. So to begin your formal practice, either sitting or lying down, one of the most powerful and deepest relaxation tools that we have at our disposal, it's free, is breathing with our belly. It's called belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. And so, as you can imagine, as we inhale, our belly fills up like a balloon, and we exhale, our belly releases, and it goes closer and draws closer to our spine. So, the belly breathing is the most relaxing and calming breath that we have. So you can always put a hand on your belly and just naturally let your belly rise and fall. Again, this is not forced. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And if you come out of a mindfulness breathing meditation for 2 minutes, and the whole time all you did was thinking about other things, then that's not a failure. That's great that you recognize it. You want to have a beginner's mind. You want to go into this fresh, and you want to go into this with no expectations. And so take that time. The second way to practice mindfulness breathing is the informal way, and that's checking in with your breath throughout the day several times. So this could be done while you're in the car, this could be done while you're at a traffic light, in the store, at home, at work. You're just going to check in with your breath, and you can take 2-3 breaths and just check in with your breathing and how you feel in your body. And then just find that place of calm. So both ways are great to start. The most preferred way is the formal practice, because if you develop a formal practice and you don't get to do it one day, you can obviously check in with yourself in an informal practice. So I would recommend starting with a formal practice and just taking that time and putting that time aside for you. So at this point, you have the 2 ways of practicing, formal, informal. Remember that you just naturally breathe. You're not forcing it. You're just simply paying attention to your breath and how it feels in your body. And then I would invite you to take a week. Take 1 week. So today's Saturday. By next Saturday, every day this week, the next 7 days, track it, write it down, journal if you like, but simply just mark off when and how long you did each mindfulness breathing meditation, and maybe how you felt, or at the end of the 7 days, how did you feel? So just track it, and you can share it with your friends, obviously, and family members. But it's certainly a good time to begin learning this. So I'll put this on the YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, and I'll post this soon. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. And I hope you like this video, and I hope everyone's staying safe. And have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Namaste.